Dear English literature learners, I'd like to give you some idea on short questions with answers on the Reformation Age Part B. My next video will be on broad questions with answers on the Reformation Age Part C. Question 1. Write a short note on the Protestantism. Answer. Protestantism is the system of beliefs and teachings of the Protestants. During the early 16th century, there was a religious movement called Reformation, which was based on the opposition of the people to the claims of papal authority and the Church of Rome. The Reformation was a Protestant rising against the Roman Catholicism. It was the Protestant Reformation that began in 1517 with Martin Luther. Like the Renaissance, Protestantism consisted in the change from external to the internal ways of thinking, feeling, and representing. Actually, the teachings of Martin Luther in Germany resulted in a religious revolt, that is Protestantism, which spread like wildfire through Germany. It is in course of time transformed the Reformation from merely an attack on the abuses of the Church into an attack on the Church itself. In fact, Reformation no longer remained a purifying and modifying influence. It became increasingly Protestant in character. Question 2. Write a short note on Reformation. The Reformation movement began and completed before the Renaissance. It began during the reign of Henry VIII, the father of Queen Elizabeth I, and the King of England. In fact, the entire period was a period of religious movement in the English religio-political life. The national focus was on the liberation of the Church of England from the authority of the Roman Church. This liberation movement is known as the Reformation. This is known as the Protestant Revolution because it could establish the Reformation Church or Protestant Church, making a complete break with the Roman Church. This Protestant movement was influenced by Luther in Germany, Calvin in Switzerland, and Knox in Scotland. Early in the next century, Scotland, England, and Scandinavia turned in favor of Protestantism. In England, Protestantism was recognized as the state religion. In the 16th century, when Henry VIII broke away from the Church of Rome. In England, the Reformation and the Renaissance come together. The Reformation had its impact on Renaissance literature. In fact, the literacy and cultural history of Renaissance will not be understood without a reference to the Reformation and its influence on it. Question 3. Write a short note on Sir Thomas More or Utopia. Answer. Sir Thomas More is the most noted of the early English humanists. He is known chiefly for his Utopia or the Kingdom of Nowhere, a work which was originally written in Latin but was translated into English in 1551. It is an epoch-making work which was been variously praised as the first movement of modern socialism, the masterpiece of English humanism, and the time prologue to the Renaissance. Sir Thomas More opposes vigorously the old conception and traditions, and he accepts the accepted order of society. He is also opposed to the spirit of chivalry, with the emphasis on war and the glorification of warriors. He advocates humanitarian ideals, hates wars, and calls soldiers manslayers. More is called the first of the modern socialists. He is against private property. He condemns the existing conspiracy of the rich against the poor. More opposes the medieval ideal of asceticism and makes a healthy enjoyment the end of human life. He advocates religious toleration. In his kingdom, Utopia, there is perfect religious freedom. All religions are equal, not even Christianity enjoys any special privilege. The Utopia embodies the Moore's conception of an ideal state, but it is also a vigorous satire on the abuses, corruptions, and errors of the age. In Moore's Utopia, he finds for the first time, as the foundations of civilized society, the three great words: liberty, equality, and fraternity. The impact of this work on Elizabethan literature is undeniable. Question 4. What do you know about William Tyndale? Answer. William Tyndale was the most important member of a group of scholars known as the Cambridge Reformers. He was inspired by examples of Martin Luther to begin his translation of the Bible in 1522. He used the original Greek and Hebrew Bibles. The translation was completed by his friend Miles Covertel. Tyndale's version forms the basis of the famous authorized version of the Bible in 1611. Tyndale's Bible is Tyndale's Bible is not merely a religious work, but also a work of great literary significance. It is not merely a translation, but also a work of Protestant propaganda. The notes which Tyndale has added are strongly critical of Roman Catholic creed. He fixed once for all the style and tone of English Bible. Its style and loose are popular. Tyndale himself tells us that his ambition is that even a peasant should read his Bible. So his purpose is remarkable for its simplicity, clarity, lucidity, and directness. It is not the ornate prose of the Renaissance, but clear, forceful, and straightforward prose. It is remarkable for its poetic cadences, its music, melody, for its poetic imagery, for its sense of rhyme and harmony. Question 5. Write a short note on the authorized version of the Bible 1611. Answer. The authorized version of the Bible 1611 is the most important event in English literature. The translation of the Bible, the Old Testament and the New Testament, and its publication in 1611 is known as the authorized version of the Bible, or the version of King James I. The significance of this version is essentially great. Through this version, the facility was created for the Bible to be read by all classes of people and by the writers of different branches of literature. Numerous writers made a reference to the Bible. In other words, it is in the cultural revival of the Renaissance, the Bible added a special dimension. Therefore, the authorized version of the Bible 1611 contributed to the national life of Renaissance and Reformation of Europe. For an example, we can say that the spiritual conflict in Dr. Faustus' soul was historically a conflict in the soul of Renaissance England. This was produced by the forces of Renaissance and Reformation coming together. So it be said that the authorized version of Bible, or the version of King James I, influenced the English writers to a considerable extent. Authorized version of the Bible was the work of scholars nominated by King James I, over whom Bishop Lancelot Andrew presided. It frequently attains to beauty of the most beautiful prose. It gave grace to the speech of the unlettered, and it entered into the style of most ambitious writers. God Almighty brought the Bible from heaven to the learned churchmen, and the authorized version brought the Bible from the learned churchmen to the ordinary people. Thank you for watching. I'm Shamim Sarwar. My next video is on the broad questions and answers on the Reformation Age Part C. Have a nice day.